Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're out here in our newly set up inventory lot where we have live models, do models, move models, high roofs, mid roofs, extended length and standard length vans that fit every budget. And we're out here to take a look at one of our exciting inventory units. This van behind me is a 2018 mid-roof do model, and it's got relatively low miles for the age. It's got under 50,000 miles, and it is also a Quigley 4x4 van, so it truly can go anywhere. On top of this van, we have our very own VanDOit roof rack. On the front, we have the 52-inch front light bar, so if you're somebody that's going to utilize that four-wheel drive and go to some more secluded places, and at night you're going to want to be able to illuminate your area a little bit more, and that front light bar really helps to do that. Over here above the slider door, we have the awning, and it is a Thule hideaway crank awning. Over here on the back side, there's a slot where you just stick up an arm and you extend that awning out. And then underneath that awning, you have an additional light bar that's just going to help if you do want to sit out underneath your van out at night. Maybe you're sitting by a fire, something like that, and you want to illuminate your area, you're going to have that capability. And then right off the back of the van here, we have the ladder so you can have roof access, and then an additional light bar. Once again, at nighttime, that's really going to come in handy whenever you're setting up camp for the night. As we climb up on top of the roof, you're going to see we have two solar panels that are going to help trickle charge your system. The battery system inside the van is an AGM system, and we'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit. Right here we have the hood for the air conditioning, and then also for the air vent as well. So you do have some climate control options inside this van. So this entire rack is made out of this T-track material that you also see throughout the van. But as you can see, it's pretty simple to fix things down here. You just have some bolts, turn-in hooks, things like that, and it will allow you to mount, say, paddle boards, kayaks, add an additional storage box on top of the roof. You can also fix down walking platform up here. So it's a really versatile system that allows you to tap into it however way you can imagine. And then, as I mentioned at the intro, this is a Quigley 4x4 upgrade. So that paired with these all-terrain tires is really going to allow you to really go anywhere in this van. You're not going to be limited to just highways and gravel roads. You can get out there on those dirt paths, sandy beaches, anything like that. This four-wheel drive van is really going to allow you to get out there and adventure the way you really want to. So as we open up the back of the van here, you're going to first notice this power tower. So this is where the battery and power system is all housed. In here we have 3 AGM batteries, and that's going to help run your lights, charge your devices, and everything. Here we have the inverter that's going to allow you to have all these outlets throughout the van, where you're going to be able to charge your phone, run a hair dryer, and everything like that. Up top here we have one set of switches, so that's going to turn on your accent lighting, your dome lighting, some additional interior lighting, run your water pump, and then also light up the exterior light bar that's over your head here. And that is just one of 3 locations of those switches inside the van. Above that you have a solar controller, a carbon monoxide detector, the breaker switches, so if you do trip a breaker, you overpower something, that's where you're going to flip that switch back on. And then also the inverter charger remote that's going to allow you to see your battery charge level, and make sure your operations are running smoothly inside the van. So in the floor here we have a grid of T-track, so if you want to mount bikes, have some stuff back here that you don't really want loose and you're going to want to tie that down, you have that capability. Or if you do want to build your own setup in here with additional T-track system, we've also had people build wood boxes for storage, anything you can kind of imagine. If you're a DIYer, you can really just play with this system, plug in your own additional things in here as well as the components that we have to offer. So there's really this whole skeleton frame inside here that you have to work with and tie down your gear and add additional things to as well. And then one more thing of note about the floor system in here is you do have the ability to add additional seats because this is a passenger van. So we have all these cutouts in here that allow you to pop additional seating inside the van. And then whenever you want to take the seats out and just utilize the full cargo area, you just pop these panels back in. It's a really plug and play kind of a system. So you can have up to 8 seats in here. or you can have just the driver and passenger seat and any kind of combination between that. So you just pop these out and then pop them back in whenever you don't need the additional seating. So as you can see, I'm having to lean over a little bit inside this van because it is a mid-roof. So if you're above 5'8" in height, you're probably going to have to bend over a little bit inside this van. So what I would suggest is just coming here and stepping inside one of these vans, seeing what you're comfortable with, standing in a mid-roof, standing in a high roof, driving them around, see how they feel. We love having tours, and you can really put our gurus through their paces. Open up any single van that you're interested in. They would love to answer questions and get you in-house to get a real feel for this van, to make you feel better about your decision making. But definitely the height of this van is something to consider when getting a camper van. If you're comfortable with it, great. If you're under 5'8", this is probably a perfect option for you as well. Over the slider door here, we have that second set of switches. So the accent light, dome light, a cargo light, water pump, the exterior light bar on this side of the van, the DC electric that's going to allow you to turn on your stereo when the van is off, and then the water pump. These are on dimmers, and they do have they dim themselves, so they have 3 stages of light. So if you want the lights on but you don't want them blaring, maybe it's really dark outside, you don't need quite as much light inside the van, you can dim them. And then also these switches will kick off after an allotted time. So if you do have light sensitivity, don't worry, those will kick off and go completely dark. Right here you have the controls for the air conditioning unit. This being the AGM power system, you're going to have to plug into shore power to run that. So whether you're at a campground, you're in somebody's driveway, or if you want to carry an additional generator on board, that's how you would run that air conditioning. Right here you have the switch for the S-bar furnace. We're getting out of those colder temperatures now, but in those cooler months when it's getting late fall through winter and early spring, that is a must-have item in a camper van if you want to extend the life of your van to where you can use it in all 4 seasons. And then adding to the climate control inside your van, you do have this air vent. So you can run that off the AGM power system. It's great for this time of year in the mid-spring when it's maybe 65 or so degrees outside and you just want to keep that air moving inside the van. You have that ability. What you can also do to a van like this is add the bug walls, so you can have the slider door open, get that fresh air in, run the air vent, and really cycle that air through. So that's something to talk about with the guru if you want to add that option to a van like this. Up in the T-track here, we have our 30-inch hanging cabinets, and these can be moved and taken out of the van completely. So it's really fine-tuning where you like to have stuff. In this Do model, where we have this full-size bed platform, it really works out well to have these on this side of the van, since you're not having to worry about maybe waking up and hitting your head on one of these things, since there's no bedding on this side of the cabinet. But it's really just, like I said, fine-tuning where you really like to put stuff. One thing I really love about the bungee system here is you have the ability to just kind of reach in and grab stuff. And then also, if you have weird shaped items, they can stick out, where if it was a traditional door here on the front, it would have to fit completely in this space to make sure those doors shut. And then in a limited area like a van, having that flexibility of space, the space being flexible, I should say, it can really help increase the storage capabilities of these cabinets inside the van. And then right here we have a really simple thing that makes your van so much more enjoyable, and that is the swivel seat. So this will turn around, open up the van. If you're sitting in, from my perspective, you have this wide open van space here. So it really just it makes your van feel more roomy. And you also have the ability to pair it with this lagoon table. So if you're somebody that's working remote, you have this little workspace here, or if you're just using it as a dining table, it's a great option for improving the livability of the van. And then up above me here is the third and final set of switches in here. Once again, it's going to be the light bar on the front, dome lighting, the switch for the stereo system, accent lighting, and cargo lighting. So that's the third set of switches, and those again will dim off and not stay on throughout the night. And then last but definitely not least, we have the bed platform in this van, and this is a full-size bed platform. It also has the ability to be a single bed platform. So I'll step off the bed here, and I'm messing it up. Sorry, Laura, I know you put in a lot of work making this bed and making it look really nice, so I will fix that for you. But right here we have a hinge on the bed, and you have the ability to lower this side and fold it back against the wall and just have a single bed platform, which would give you the ability to walk through the van. Or you can completely fold this bed to the side and use it as a cargo van. Maybe you're somebody that's into motocross or something like that. You want to throw your dirt bike in the van and you need all the space. You can do that as well. Or you can completely remove the van or remove the bed from the van. So it's really up to you. The Do model, in my opinion, has maybe the most flexibility, versatility. You can really minimalize it, or you can maximize it and really pack it out with modules, seats, anything like that. You really have a lot of flexibility in this setup. So this van is available and it is looking for a forever home. So if you're somebody with a spirit of adventure, you're really going to take this van out into the great outdoors, this van could be for you. So definitely take a look at the link in the description below. But there's a full breakdown of the specs and components inside this van, and then also reach out to one of our gurus. They can answer any questions that you may have about things that you can add to the van, whether you want to add a different kitchen setup. This one doesn't have one as it currently sits, but you do have the option to add maybe a kitchen pod or some modules, a fridge, everything like that. So that's definitely something to consider and reach out to one of our gurus about. There's no question that they haven't heard yet, so they can definitely help you with whatever questions that you may have. Thank you for watching, and keep on adventuring.